for now, we're at the new moon in Virgo. And the last full moon, I have to say, was just horrendous for a lot of people. I'll just say it. I've heard so many people tell me stories of weird happenings, sometimes feeling even like, well, I'll just have to say it, that we in my little microcosm, our little village, we had people being followed, people being broken into, um, creepy behavior. Not like it's going to happen for everybody or all of you. I'm sure it didn't, but I'm just hearing a lot of it. So unless there's just some weird star over my little village, I'm wondering whether you did too. There were some tough planets in that last full moon in Pisces. There were, I talked about the Neptune squares and Mars, and as I said, the potential for this weirdness or deception or self-sabotage is high when it comes to those planets. So we're going to take a look at the new moon in Virgo and see what it brings. But usually a Virgo moon is very sort of cool and collected and analytical as a moon, which isn't very comfortable for the moon. The moon needs to feel and have very undefined thoughts and shifts in tone, and it's tough for a moon to try to like fit the needs and the emotions into little boxes. However, people with a Virgo moon are going to be very exacting, and they will be able to sometimes be extremely good at articulating those emotions because they have tried, to put them in the little boxes for us. So that's could be one good effect of the Virgo moon. Otherwise, I expect a lot of people, to be hunkering down on all their autumn activities. So lots of planning, lots of canning food, preparing stuff for school, getting down to the first big assignments if you're a student or teachers. We're going back into the shift of feminine energy, of yin, pretty soon on the equinox. Right now we're in what's called the earth element, which is like a couple of weeks at the end of August, early September, before the equinox. Well, so early September, where it rules the earth element in the Chinese medicine, and that is the stomach. And so maybe you're seeing more stomach issues this last little while. But we're going to feel things lighten up, I believe, at the end of the month when we shift more into Libra and when we shift into a little cooler weather again and back into yin. But maybe I'm just wishful thinking too. But that's what my intuition is telling me, is like things sort of calm a bit towards the last week of September. They've been just strange. So without further ado, let's take a look at this chart. Sorry for all you probably hear the truck noise outside. That's another thing that increases in fall. In summertime, it's quiet out my window, and same with winter. And then fall and spring, it just seems to be, I don't know, double the cars, double the noise on the street. But everything's temporary. Everything is a season. And that's part of the lesson of life, isn't it? To just accept the season we're in. So let's take a look at this new moon. So it's falling at 21 degrees down here with the sun. And as you can see, we've got a nice grand Earth trine to that sun and moon. So this is nice. This is a strengthening, productive, calming, flow-like influence. So even though the planets that it's trining are not always easy, because it's Pluto and Jupiter, Uranus, but an Earth trine is always a good time of getting things down to the tangibles. Fix that thing. pull out that thing and fix it and clean it. Um, get physical, go out for a walk, deal with your body. Um, like I mentioned, preserving food, harvesting food, cleaning up gardens, trimming trees, getting things ready. Tangibles can also be like, put things down in paper. Don't stay in your head or in your daydream. So when you see a grand Earth trine, it's time to get really practical and tangible and in your body. And that tends to feel like heavier or more slowed down to a lot of people because I think our society functions more on an air or fire element. We don't like the emotions too much. We certainly have a side of like practical get it done. There's lots of people like that. And they don't want to talk about anything but the earth plane, money, and like if I can't see it, then it's not real. Nothing about ideas or abstracts or art, just literal. That can be very earth element too. But a lot of our society functions on the air, like the ideas and the thoughts and the I'm going to, and oh, if you just do this, and if you think that way, then this will, and we stay in our heads and we don't put things into action a lot. So if you're in your head a lot and suddenly something pulls you back down into the physical earth realm in your body, you're going to feel tired, achy, maybe cranky, impatient, that things are slow. So you could feel some of that. However, with Pluto trine sun and moon, Jupiter, Uranus trine Pluto and sun and moon, you could also move mountains right now. So if anything, you might not want to overdo it and pull out your back trying to get everything done. But I like the productivity feeling. And Virgo, sun and moon is going to just break everything down into these minute details and systems, and they'll get things ship shape. So if you do need to sort of honor the season and, okay, it's getting a little bit darker earlier and it's cooler earlier, and maybe it's time to pull back inwards and stay home a little more and just like cook some soup or something, get something done that you've been needing to get done. Well, instead of, we've all had a good time being extroverted in summer. Here's my little bee cub. And sometimes the practicality is like also with your logistics of your lifestyle, your day-to-day routines can be the earth element too. So when the seasons change, do you want to think about, do I need a different routine for fall? And then you can always change it again in winter based on what you feel your needs and your what you're drawn to, what you feel would benefit you for the fall. Virgo and Taurus and Capricorn, all of our earth signs, when planets are in there, they're frugal, they're counting their dimes and stuff. So that could be another side of it, is think about how you want to rebudget your life for the fall season. Maybe your lifestyle can shift so that you find a way to save $10 a day that you've been spending because you've been popping into somewhere for Starbucks and a muffin too often, or whatever we're doing. And it is $10 a day if you're popping into Starbucks for a coffee and a muffin now, isn't it? So, there's ways to think about tightening up your lifestyle and your budget. So can't you just feel how earthy and grounded this energy is right out of the gate? Like normally I don't start off talking about all this stuff. So that's the vibe of it. It's very grounding. And it's like, okay, getting grounded sometimes brings up emotions or impatience. But when you can sort of own it and go, yeah, this needs to be done. I've been avoiding it. Whatever. Don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. You're having a fun summer. Now things have shifted, so let's get to it. Let's make the decision. Let's find a place for that thing. let's get that thing fixed, whatever it is. Prepare for winter, but prepare, start thinking. So what else do we have going on in this chart? Well, besides the fact that there are several retrogrades, although Venus is now direct, thank God. So we went through a Venus retrograde in Leo, which put everybody, well, the classic thing is, oh, your exes will come back and want to be with you, or you'll be reminiscing from some other relationship, or there could be drama within a current relationship and it's related to old issues. Yeah, some of you might have been evaluating your love lives and your relationships more during the Venus retrograde, but it is direct now. And it's halfway through. As you see, it's at the bottom here. It's in Leo still. So people are still wanting passion. People are still wanting loyalty. People are wanting romance. They're wanting attention. And Venus in Leo is also willing to give attention. And it's like, I'll spoil you and you spoil me. Venus in Leo. I'll be your cheerleader and your best fan, and you be mine. So maybe that theme has come up in your relationships where there's like a vying for who's like the star, the top dog, or getting attention. Or hopefully you have worked it out and there's a balance of that within your relationships. But that could be coming up. Now, if you look over here, we've got, of course, an opposition. Once again, Neptune is still sitting opposite the sun and moon. So what did we say before? Remember, the full moon had like some nasty aspects with the moon and also with Neptune. Here, the moon and Neptune are not in a great way, but Mars has sort of stepped out of there. Thank goodness. So there shouldn't be, let's say, as menacing an element as there was before. But still, moon and Neptune opposite, sun Neptune opposite, there can still be a lot of confusion in the air about people. Like Neptune just casts a glow or a glamour or like is that real? Is that the real them? Oh my God, this feels so good. Am I making that up, or is it really actually good? Or there's some sort of weird vibe about this. And then you're like, am I right? Or is this in my head? And it's hard sometimes to trust your intuition. I know, when you're in the midst of that, even for me, even though I've done this for 35 years, there can still be people, there can still be lessons on my path, and I can still be confused. Now, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, I got their number before they even, but there's always things that come up in our lives. So the moon and Neptune, you got to be sensitive to like flights of fancy or like taking things a little too far. But I wouldn't say, because it's a Virgo moon, like, don't ignore it. So like, okay, you walk into a new place, you're meeting new people, you feel a connection with somebody. Venus and Leo wants to meet people right now. Let's say I go out to somewhere and somebody new seems to be flirting with me. And then I go into a bit of confusion, like, was that real? Are they flirting? Or are they just being friendly? And then it's like, do I even like them? Did I like their vibe? Does it feel sincere? Like, and to go back to your discernment without taking it so far, like, because moon Neptune could easily just like, start crushing on somebody before you even know them. Or the other way around. The person could start crushing on you before they even know you, because there's like a projection, basically, is what it is. It's a deep projection that's going on with the moon and Neptune, and it's very unconscious. That's why we have to be careful. So if I suddenly go, oh, he seems really nice. Oh, he must be so creative. He must be so honest and all this. It's like, really? Do you know this person? Or are you projecting your own qualities or what you want them to be or who you are onto them because you are not seeing them clearly? And then other people might do it to you. And you're like, why is this person latching on or saying this stuff about me? They don't even know me and they seem to be fully convinced. Well, they're projecting as well. So we want to be careful of that with Moon Neptune. And again, like maybe you do get that vibe. Maybe that is your intuition. There's a crush going on here. Or this person is latching or okay. But use your discernment qualities with that Moon in Virgo and just like, okay, note to self. Don't try not to take it further into a flight of fancy or act on it or confront or whatever. Just be like, like, all right, note to self. I'm picking that up. Let's see. Let's see when this aspect shifts, which it will, in yeah, not that long. Like by the time in about a week, 5-6 days for sure, the sun and moon will not be opposing Neptune. So give it a week. So especially if it's people that you see regularly or that you might see even on a weekly basis, well, don't act on it this week. See if the person still feels he's get the same vibe next week. Just wait it out. Just to be sure that there's no fantasies or illusions or projections going on, because it's so easy to do under that influence. Now, what else do we have going on is, well, I'm attracted to this, even though we've got a bunch of stuff. Okay, Mercury is in Virgo. It's still retrograde. Give it a couple more days. It's direct on the 15th. And then there is a post shadow, so it's not perfect, but for the most part, Mercury retrograde is over on the 15th. Hallelujah. But it's opposite Saturn right now. Oh, not good, not fun. Okay. Saturn opposite Mercury. Oh, Mercury's already retrograde, so we're already like fuzzy brained and like internally churning things out and like over analyzing and being hypercritical of ourselves. And everything's like just like a beehive inside. And then Saturn comes along and it's opposing it, going, I'm really going to drive this spike through. It's just restricting it even more, the ability to see and think clearly. So this is not the easiest time to be working through the details, but like I said, we've got a grand Earth trine. So the things that are very clear and obvious to you that you need to think through, you know what to do next. You've already pre-thought it. You're just implementing. You're safe to do. But if there's anything where you're hazy, foggy, fuzzy, not sure of people, wait. Just wait it out a bit. Because again, Mercury and Saturn will probably be opposing each other for a little bit, but not for that long. It'll move out because Saturn moves so slowly, Mercury moves more quickly. So it's in the air again. How long? It's already 6 degrees apart. And retrograde. It's going to start to go faster in a couple of days. So again, safely give yourself a week before you make any huge decisions. And again, Saturn and Mercury, just like it's harder to think things through and harder to get to a decision. So it might not be the greatest time to launch something that you haven't fully thought through, that you're not just in the execution phase of. So now let's look here at Mars, which is in Libra. I need more coffee. Mars in Libra is not in a good spot either. I have to double check whether it's in its detriment or its fall, but it's one of the two with Mars in Libra. It's not a strong spot for Mars. Mars needs to be assertive. And Libra is always waving back and forth, weighing things back and forth. I'm just going to check here. Yeah, it's in its detriment. So, yeah, so basically Mars in Libra is going to endlessly be indecisive and weigh things. They're not going to be assertive or direct. They are going to be very charming, very charming. They will know how to sort of like a bit superficially but seamlessly kind of bring people together and blend and meld things. And so it is very good at that. And it all depends on your life and what's going on, whether that's useful or not. If you want to do something with networking and marketing or entertainment, or sort of light socializing where maybe not everyone has a lot in common, this could be good because it might meld things together. But when it comes to, well, it could also be good for the arts, because Libra is definitely artistic and creative. And so even if you're not an artist, if you even just want to just get in and redecorate something or reorganize your, I don't know, clean up your desktop or like something where there's some sort of organization and aesthetic quality, Libra is good with that, to make things look pleasant and create some sort of charm or harmony. But it can be surfacey, right? It's not dealing with whatever is really going on. And that's where it's in its detriment, because it's not really strong enough to act in a way to bring about the truth or a change. Or in rare cases, Mars and Libra could be, Libra is the scales of justice. They're definitely going to care about fairness, but will they do anything about it, or will they just complain or go, well, maybe this or maybe that? Ultimately, it's supposed to arrive at a decision about justice. But we don't know whether it will, because usually Mars in Libra is very passive and doesn't like to make decisions. So yet again, we see another influence of like, let's just wait before So as I said, if you've been thinking about something for quite a while and it's just time to hunker down and get her done, you're safe to do it. If something is still brand new and percolating and formulating and you're not sure of it, the project, the people, the job, the whatever, it's really just saying to wait right now. There's too many planets opposing that might make things a little harder to move forward, but it's not for very long. Now, Mars is going to still be in Libra for a little bit, so that influence lasts. But the other Saturn, Mercury, and Moon Neptune, that will lift in a week or so. The other thing going on here that adds a little insult to injury is that Mars is opposing Chiron in Aries. So it's just talking about people feeling wounded. Like, what a mess this could be, okay? Mars and Libra doesn't want to make a decision. They're passive. They're trying to keep things surface so that everyone gets along so that they feel comfortable. And Chiron in Aries is like got this profound wound of the self going on here in the 12th house. So again, unconscious material. So it's almost like in some situations, no matter how much that Libra tries to smooth things over, it ain't going to work because there's too much emotional baggage in the room. There's only so much you can spread icing on and still say it tastes good. Just saying, that's sort of in the air too. So depending on you and what you feel about this, if it's me, I'm going to hang back from trying to get to the bottom of things or work things out in a group where things are clearly not congruent or there's superficial understanding. For me, I'm not going to touch that during these planets, because the unconscious wounded Aries self thing in the 12th house, somebody's ego could just rear its real ugly head if it's triggered. So you'd want to be careful not to. And well, we've got some minor aspects that okay, sorry, I'll talk about this first because that's related to Chiron. So ironically, Venus is trine Chiron right now. So that's even boding more for the fire and the willpower and the passion and the drama and the boldness and talking about, or dealing with your wounds. It's emphasizing that. I mean, if that's what you're into and you're healing right now, it could be great. Maybe you're going to do something bold and gutsy and ballsy, and that's going to help you heal. Maybe some show of ego is a counterbalance to feeling invisible in your life. I don't know, but that kind of action is in the air. And like we know that could be, it could be brilliant or it could go really bad. Then we have minor aspects, like you see these 30-degree angles where things sort of work together well, like Venus in Leo and Mars in Libra. That's a sextile, 60 degrees. They work well together. They're sort of partnering up. It doesn't guarantee anything, but they help each other along. Good for socializing again. But then Venus again is squaring off with Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus in the 12th house. So again, explosive. So as you can see, it would really be good to just focus on the practical aspects of life and just pull back a bit and get some crap done. Because there's emotional drama here in the air. Not everywhere, but I get a hint of it depending on group dynamics is what it feels like. Some other minor aspects here, we see Jupiter, Uranus working well with Neptune, and Neptune working well with Pluto. So again, they help each other out. It's always harder to define how these sextiles really play out and help. It's sort of like, oh, could you pass me the water bottle? Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Nothing where it's like in sync and intuitively flowing, where I thought about the water and somebody passed it to me before I even asked. That's more like a trine. Like things just help each other out without you having to work hard. Sextile, you have to sort of ask, you have to sort of work at it, but then it works. So, but in this case, it's like it's Neptune that's helping them out. So how does that help? It softens Pluto slightly, softens the ambition, the overweening ambition, the desire to climb, could soften it or mellow it out. Could also hide somebody's intentions of that too. Neptune with Jupiter and Uranus in the 12th. Well, again, I mean, it softens the blow of something that's already sort of like a little earthquake, like I've been telling you with Uranus and Taurus is like little earthquakes going off. Could it give you visions? Possibly. Visions and dreams? Possibly. But in general, I'm going to tell you, it's been a harder time for most people to tune into their intuition and their guides than usual. A lot of healers are and intuitive and empaths are feeling extremely overloaded and burnt out right now. And protecting ourselves from absorbing too much of the collective sort of chaos and dissolution that's going on. And so it's a little harder to hear your gut. There's always stuff to be done on the practical level in our lives, isn't there? So during this Virgo moon, that's what I would suggest we all do. Get out in your garden, paint the damn room you said you would do, bring out the carpets, bang them out, clean them up, change your wardrobe over for winter, whatever, for fall, whatever you know, if you said you would write something for somebody and it's not like a big head breaking exercise that you got to figure out, you just got to sit down and do it because you said you would, we'll do it. That's the vibe of this moon. That's where you're going to avoid any of the other drama, and you're going to pick up information intuitively or whatever from these Neptune aspects and from observing dynamics and stuff. But it's not really a time to like get in there with everybody and try to resolve the issue when it comes to group stuff. All right. What a reading. Okay, so let's take a look at the tarot now for this full moon, new moon. All right, so, oh, where'd my sage disappear to? Hmm. Hmm. Okay, then. I don't have any sage handy. Oh, well, sorry. Ah, you know what? No, I need it. So let's see. 1 second. All right, here we go. Have to have the sage. So, and I misplaced my little bowl with it. It's so weird. I don't have a lot of stuff or a lot of space. How can I lose it? But it's, don't know where it went, disappeared on me. Oh. All right. So let's see what the cards have to add to this reading of this new moon for us. So the first card is the Three of Wands, Sun in Aries. Virtue. Virtue is putting yourself first, but in a good way. So that means not being selfish, but self-care, self-love, honoring yourself. Don't abandon yourself. It's not virtuous to pretend you're okay with something when you're not, to go against what you know you deeply need or what your values are. So in that way, you're honoring yourself. And that's when you're more honest, and therefore things will go better for you. Second card is Five of Cups, disappointment. So, we already sort of touched on relationship dynamics that could come up during this Venus transit, but continuing now, perhaps, disappointment's just sort of a part of life, isn't it? And I'm not going to start predicting breakups for everybody, but you could be just getting in touch with who you are a little bit more and realizing who and what are in alignment with you, and maybe a bit disappointed at the way things have turned out with certain people, or what you thought something was. It's usually on the emotional level, so it's but in general, dealing with disappointment. So don't be too hard on yourself. and the Hermit. So we do have, you know, pulling back, and going within a little bit more, spending a little more time alone. Can be more rest, more reflection, more study. You want some answers, you know. Can also be meditation. Can be going back to your yoga practice. Can be reading books. Could be poetry. Anything that brings you more within yourself again. There's a big theme of this. And Two of Wands, Mars and Aries, anger and friction. So you might be, as you pull back and let yourself feel whatever you need to feel about the way things have turned out in your life, you might feel some anger. But again, this is also, to me, just a normal part of life, normal part of processing. And it comes down to the same card again, like, were you true to yourself? Ultimately, if the answer is no, that's why we end up in a lot of these situations. So otherwise, you'll project this anger outwards and get into arguments. Or if you're really angry and you don't own the fact that you're angry, you'll attract or be around other people that are really angry in your midst. So we just want to watch for that. That's not fun. And my goodness, five of discs is the worry card. It's Mercury and Taurus, usually worried about everything. Taurus likes to worry for sport, I think sometimes. I mean, every sign worries to some degree, but Taurus really, 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 because they're always so concerned about their security. And rightly so, but there's only so much you can control, and you still have to live. You still have to enjoy life. Can't spend all your time worrying and trying to plan for what if, because then you'll never live. So really take a look at how much worrying you're doing or the people around you, and if it's really helping you to do that. You know, the planets say, hunker down and just get to work, roll up your shirt sleeves, get some things done. Put things into action will take you out of worrying as well, instead of, I wonder, should I do this or should I do that? Is it the right time, or will they think, you know, is it, I'm not, no. That's all very normal, but no. Just do one thing. Check something off your list. Get out of your head. And we have the Queen of Discs, so strong, practical, down-to-earth woman, businessy, usually has got money. Could this be somebody that you ask for wise advice? Yes. Could this be somebody where there's money issues with the person? Maybe she either she helps you, or she's generous to you, or maybe she withholds from you. She's not looking at us. Money is very important to her, so it's hard to say, like, your relationship with that person. Would this person be helpful and guide you, lend you, or withhold or judge? All depends, but that's sort of in the air too. The Magician. Now here's where the game changes. The Magician is like, I can do this myself. I don't need to worry. I don't need to retreat and isolate. I don't need to ask everybody. I can do it. I've got all the tools. I'll pull out my own new design. I'll manifest my own stuff. Thank you very much. Aha, and the Sun. It's going to work when you have that attitude and you honor yourself and you say, I own my stuff. I will fix my own problems. I can do things on my own. I don't need, not like I don't need anybody. No. But like running around for approval, running around for help, feel like you're chasing or begging for whatever. If you feel judged or shamed versus the generous side of that queen, walk away. You can do it yourself. You got your own back. Things will go well for you. And then the Five of Swords ends off, well, there's going to be some, again, this is conflicts, um, sometimes endings or temporary endings. You might need to step back from whatever this situation or person is that's bringing up the disappointment and the grief and the anger. Maybe it is that Queen of Discs. Doesn't have to be female, by the way. It's more the quality of somebody who is very concerned with their own money, their own welfare, their own business, whatever, and like sort of territorial and possessive and generous when they like you, and sometimes withholding and judgmental if they don't. And so you might be stepping back from that person. Let's do one more. Yeah. And we have the Wheel of Fortune, which sort of tells me that if you do, like, because the Magician and the Sun come, where you have reclaimed your power and you're out there doing your own thing and you're self-reliant, that the defeat or the letting go of that person is actually for the better, for now, with the Wheel of Fortune. That added a different dimension to this reading, doesn't it? Let's take a look for each sign. I just found my sage. It's right in front of my face. I had something stacked on top of it. Oh gosh, you feel silly. All right, let's take a look for the signs. Oh, how do we qualify the question? Because so much came up here. A lot about relationships, a lot about getting things done, a lot about taking your power back, a lot about waiting a situation out for discernment. Let's just generally see, what does your new moon bring? Very general. There's too many themes going on here. All right, Aries, what does your new moon bring to you? And that is very nice. You've got the Two of Swords. Some sort of, it says peace on it. It's the moon in Libra. You desire to get along and make amends and smooth things out with somebody. You don't have to be fake or charming for that to happen. You need to be real. You just need to be calm and honest and approach the person. And it looks like very good sort of peace talk, or admissions, mutual admissions of, oh, I thought this, oh, I thought that, oh, okay, now we understand each other. So there's a lot of goodness that comes out of that. If you can think of who that would be, you just need to approach them calmly and say, hey, can we have a conversation? And that's it. And just be as relaxed and honest as you can. And there's a very good chance that you're going to feel reconnected or closer to someone. That's a nice message. Taurus. All right. Your message is the Seven of Discs, which says failure on it, which doesn't mean you're going to fail. Saturn in Taurus means, though, that you might feel like you have failed in some way. I'd say you're being very hard on yourself about something, and which Taurus tends to do. Very resilient sign, underneath all that stubbornness. There's a lot of Taurus that assume great responsibility for everything, maybe too much, and can feel very disappointed and let down when things don't work the way they thought because they put so much into it. So yeah, I would say this new moon is to really give yourself some space and rest, and try not to go into those lower feelings of failure or devaluing yourself in any way because you're upset you're not where you thought you'd be or whatever. Gemini, you've got the Prince of Cups. So he's very nice. He's very sensitive and open to people. He's sociable. He's caring. He's also really overwhelmed by his emotions, and he's sort of confused. He can be afraid of a lot of changes that are going on emotionally. He knows there's some sort of transformation in front of him, but he's sort of scared to go through it. And in the midst of trying to keep himself calm, he's actually making some things messier in his wake. So he's got to sort of come out of his own head a little bit. And he's got to sort of stop looking down at that snake in his cup, as you can see, which represents, the transformation or change in his emotions. He's got to sort of step out of that and look behind and see all the waves he's created, even though the water looks calm ahead, but he's not even really steering. So Gemini, there's something where if your emotions are too strong and overwhelming, you've got to step back a bit and sort of take a bit more control of your practical stuff in your life again. You just sort of calm yourself. And maybe that's somebody else around you that's close to you. It might not be you who's affecting you. Whew. Excuse me. I guess this was probably a true message as my throat is all like clearing up. All right, Cancers. Aha. Cancer, you've got the Eon, which is in the other decks, the Judgment card. You've got a major decision to make. It represents sort of crossing a threshold. Maybe you've been standing at the gate for so long or at a bridge going, yeah, but if I cross it, then I'm losing this. Yeah, but I'm going to be happier and I'm going to gain that. Yeah, but those people are going to be upset. Yeah, but I won't be upset because I need to do X, Y, or Z. Yeah, but then I'm going to lose things. I'm going to grieve. I'm going to be upset. Like this endless loop. Sound familiar? There's a decision you've been hanging out around. And it can be a decision to commit to something that you've been wanting, and maybe you're well aware, or you're afraid your family, your spouse, your friends are going to oppose it or not understand you. There could also be a relationship you're not sure whether you need to take it forward and commit or let it go. Someone you need to take a definite step towards something. Sometimes it can be declaring something about yourself. I'm going to do this now, or I'm not doing that anymore. But you've been hovering around it for a long time, and now you need to actually make the step. Leo. Well, of course, Venus is in your sign. You got the love card. Ace of Cups, love's in the air. Every time I look around. So, yeah, love is in the air for you. Hopefully, you are doing well in your relationship, spicing it up, feeling wonderful, feeling adored, adoring your partner in return. Some of you, maybe you're dating and this is the birth of a new love. Maybe some of you, it's with a new child and you're just in love with this new baby or this new pet, this new puppy dog. But there is love there. And it's, the ace, it's the beginning. It's like the initial burst of love. So this is a very nice message for you. You sort of get to have the best of this chart. So you're going to probably see things move in a good direction, meaning like more secure, more committed, more affectionate. It's very nice for you, this new moon. Virgo, happy birthday to you. Virgo, you've got the Nine of Swords, very difficult card. So you've got some difficult situations around you where people, or this is you with yourself, but this is a card of cruelty. Mars and Gemini, meaning duplicitous or duality, maybe two-faced. 1 minute people are nice, 1 minute you're up, 1 minute you're down. They put you up, they put you down. Maybe you're doing that to yourself. 1 minute you think you're great, the next minute you're crapping on yourself. Basically with Mars in Gemini and this nine of Swords, I always look around for signs of mental or verbal emotional abuse. Maybe it's not always obvious to you that that's what you're going through, but look around for that, for signs of that. Also, you got to be careful that people aren't manipulating or duping you, you know? Be careful of scammers. I mean, you're usually probably pretty good at that. So, and again, this really does apply to yourself as well. So, if you are in any way being cruel to yourself versus gentle to yourself, you must address that tendency for your own sake, for your mental health. You need to be kind to yourself, not more critical. Libras. We've got the Nine of Cups, happiness. Well, I told you before, Mars and Libra, that's going to charge you guys up. That's going to make you feel more creative or more literary or more social or more like abstract ideas. Usually the Nine of Cups can be celebrations and, could be parties, gatherings, collaborations that work well. This is one of the best cards there is. So you're probably happy with Mars in Libra right now because even though, as I said, it's not in its best element to have it there for action, maybe, as a Libra, you're just fine with that. Let's just keep things light and bubbly and not really decide anything and just keep it stable like that. And let's let everybody just get along for a while. All righty. Scorpios. Queen of Wands. Well, you probably feel it's time to take charge. There could be someone else around you that's trying to take charge too. Someone's being controlled, Look at how hard she's gripping the head of this leopard. She doesn't really need to. But she's like, you're going to look this way because I told you to, kind of thing. So now, do you feel controlled in some way? Are you doing that to anyone else? Do you need to? Is there someone around you that's gotten out of hand? Because sometimes there is, and they need to be like, hey, get your head on straight here. Maybe if you're a boss and you've got employees, if you're a teacher and some of these are students, and sometimes that is warranted, like turn yourself around here, calm down. We don't know whether she's disciplining this leopard because he's like all over the place bouncing off the walls, or whether she's just doing it to be oppressive. But there are some sort of control and dominance issues going on. Now, you have to figure out which one you are in that scenario. And maybe you need to make a decision about whether it's healthy for that to continue or how it's healthy to continue. Otherwise, pardon me, Queen of Wands is pretty fiery and can get whatever she wants. So you're also probably in a position where you can do the same. Sagittarius. All right, Sag. Ah, very nice. Ace of Swords. Well, this new moon should bring you a lot of clarity, some inspirational ideas, some aha moments, awakenings. Oh my goodness. Now I understand. Now that's why. Oh, this all makes sense. Alignment, inspiration and ideas, like, and very clear, like slicing forward. This is what I'm saying. This is what we're doing. That's what I want. So it's just the mental part, but mental clarity is worth gold, isn't it? It truly is. So if you have moments of like everything feels so aligned and clear, write it down so you don't forget. And then you can go back to that and go, oh yeah, that's how I felt when I felt so good and in alignment and so clear. So that is true because that's how good it felt. Then you can go forward from there. Capricorns. Now you've got that Five of Swords. So remember we said conflicts and possible endings or breaks, hiatus. Maybe, you're feeling a little overwhelmed, run down from stuff and you need some time out from people or from a group or from activities or work. You may need to the feeling I'm getting is like an ongoing conflict that isn't like something longer term that has not been resolvable. And it doesn't mean like open bickering or warfare with somebody. It could be a long-standing chronic misunderstanding of you and someone else together. And it's accumulating and it's weighed on you. So think about what that might be. Think about what or who is draining your life force right now. And take a hiatus. Doesn't mean a complete loss or break, but a long hiatus from it. You're almost out of the woods, Capricorn. Pluto has been in your sign since 2008. It's going to leave by January 2024. It's almost over, this Pluto transformation heaviness on you. It'll move into Aquarius. But just to say, Capricorn, within the next few months, you should feel life lightening up. Thank goodness, right? Aquarius. Very nice. You get the Fool. Brand new beginning and a new vision. So yeah, before we act, we need to get the call to action. That's what the Fool is. The Fool is getting feeling compelled to do something new, seeing a vision of how you want your life to be. And it's strong enough that it feels like a calling. Sometimes people have researched it forever and then they finally say, oh, that's what I'm going to do. Other times you might go to something, you could hear some music, you could be at a movie, you could be at a lecture or an open house, and suddenly something just eureka, that's what I've got to do. I'm called, I've got to do it. If you don't have that vision or calling, then you're not ready to do anything yet. So the new beginning doesn't start. But if you do have your calling and you're like compelled and you're like, I don't know why, but I just gotta take Italian lessons. I don't know. I just gotta do the tango. I don't know why, but I have to learn. Or it can be bigger things like your career. It's like, I've got to change career. You might not know what, but you've got to change it. And so you have heard the call to action. Once you have that, you have the vision. And then you begin the hero's journey. The Fool can begin the new chapter. And that's so apropos with Pluto going to come into your sign in January for the next 20 years. You will feel compelled to redesign yourself and your life as you knew it it is a call to action for the Fool. It's you begin a new hero's journey, a new chapter, especially those of you born in early Aquarius, like the late January Aquarians. All right, and Pisces finally. You have the Princess of Wands. So Pisces, you need to be more spontaneous right now. You need to worry a little bit less about everybody and how it's all going to go, and just like overly concerned with the results. And you need to just sort of dive in and let yourself be a little more spontaneous, which is sort of fun. Sort of fun, right? So if you can manage it, just don't overthink, and just if something feels good, just let yourself try it. You know, she is, as you can see, sort of flying into a flame. Ooh, I'm so tired. I'm sorry. And her horns are like drawing her into the flame, and she's embracing it. And she's so, her will is so strong that this sleeping tiger is just like, or he's entranced, but he's just going along with her. It's pretty powerful stuff. So if you're feeling inspired as well to do something, that would be great, to just let yourself go and try it and be more spontaneous. So what an interesting read this was. It has a mixed energy for sure. Everybody's advice was very different. Now, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, because I just tend to be obsessed with astrology. I forget to promote myself. But if you would like a reading with me, you can message me on Facebook or Instagram, Catherine Allen or Catherine River Rain. You'll see me under both, Clairvoyant Medium, Catherine Allen. And you can find me on the Intuition Cafe if you'd like to develop your own skills. And I have some upcoming courses. And they haven't officially been announced yet. So the one has, it's but I will make a separate video to talk about my upcoming courses, or a reel or something. Yeah, I think that's better. All right. I hope you have a wonderful new moon, everybody.